Yeah, she will. Okay, we're going to call the work session to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Berminski?
Here.
Mr. Haas?
Here.
Ms. Hauk is absent. Mr. Kelleher?
Here.
Mr. Perry?
Here.
Ms. Sedman? She is here.
She's here.
Mr. Schnee?
Present.
Mr. Urban?
Here.
Mr. Vogt?
Here.
Ms. Wakes?
Present.
Mr. McGinley?
Present.
10 of 11.
Thank you. Any additions or deletions from the work section agenda? Hearing none, do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Ms. Wakes, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Vo? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Manager, you're first on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In reviewing of the division head reports, I'd be happy to review anything with you. Some highlights that I wanted to bring out. Specifically, community development batting leadoff right there in the on the first page. We have that $15 million infrastructure program. We were informed by the federal authorities that we can utilize the revolving loan fund for infrastructure projects in low to moderate income areas. So if any council members or members of the public want to reach out to their municipalities, we have specifically reached out to every municipality that are eligible for projects. That deadline is coming up. It's the 15th of June. So if those municipalities will get their information in, and then the committee will review them, and hopefully we'll be able to get some infrastructure projects done here in Luzerne County. The second thing that I wanted to bring up is the Election Bureau. On the bottom of the page, we had a very low turnout. This year, 16.67%. Approximately 34,000 voters taking part of this election out of possible 205,000 voters. We are not an anomaly. That number it was pretty much the same through across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. There's always there were some minor issues that came up during the election this year. Most importantly were regarding the storm that occurred. After that storm occurred, we've specifically identified steps that we'll be taking with EMA for generators and have them ready to go in case we were to have an issue like that again. Some other highlights that we wanted to bring up, the pictometry update for the Luzerne County Assessor's Office. To date, it's yielded an increase of over $8.6 million in county in assessed values for the county. That equates to a little less than $51,000 per year for the county specifically, and over a couple $100,000 for the municipalities and the school districts in that matter. We are about halfway done with the project. We've picked up all of the low-hanging fruit, so that number I think will go up still, but I'm not expecting giant steps forward at this point. That being said, $8.6 million worth of county assessed value is a major increase, and the assessor's office has really taken this under their wing and really moved the ball forward with regard to assessed values here in Luzerne County. Other areas that I wanted to bring up are the Now and One tower sites. This council allocated over $750,000 in the capital plan in order to increase our Now and One tower sites. We are moving forward on those, and we appreciate council support in fixing those tower sites. Specifically, we're working on the VA tower site. Council approved that option a couple of weeks ago. The Whitehaven tower site, that construction has begun, and the concrete pour actually started, I believe, 2 weeks ago. And then finally, we're also working with the Hazleton City Water Authority site, finalizing their site as well. There will be a 180-foot communications tower there, and these will resolve numerous issues in the southern end of the county. In addition, the VA tower site will help the Wilkes-Barre area, the Plains area, as well with any issues they have. The Now One department has been extremely reactive to any concerns that occur, and we're going to continue to work with those. And we appreciate council's support of those towers. Finally, we'll end with everybody's favorite topic at this time of year, potholes. Well, maybe nobody's favorite topic, actually, but it seems to be the topic everybody's talking about. I send council the great news. PennDOT has approved the Chase Road project. That's going to be out. It's going to be let in June. It's going to be out to bid last week, and then awarded in July. That's phenomenal. Mr. Parsik and I drove 2 hours of every back mountain road that Luzerne County owns. Eddie O'Neill has done that numerous times. Wayne Mitchell spends every day, all day, and the road and bridge staff spends every day, all day on those roads as well. We're thrilled to announce that we took necessary steps to pave over major holes we have in the hillside on Hillside Road in the back mountain. There's approximately 4 miles of road there that we're moving forward with. We're also moving forward with Foothills Drive and Mountain Road in Butler Township and Sugarloaf Township. Obviously, Butler Township and Sugarloaf Township has agreed that should we have a full depth reclamation on those roads, they will take over those roads. And that is about 7 miles worth of county roads that hopefully by the end of this year will be off of county books forever. That is a major win for the county and for those residents who have a full depth reclamation. I would obviously like to offer our services as well to any other municipality out there who's willing to take on a county road or bridge. We are going to continue to work with every municipality to work on our roads and bridges. But Butler Township and Sugarloaf Township has stepped up to the plate, and we're going to get some great work out of them in the next couple of months. So with that being said, I will open myself up to any questions. Other than that, continue to move forward with what we're doing.
Yeah, I have a question, if you don't mind. On page 17, we're talking about some of the county bridges. It's lovely to see them. However, I don't know where they're located. I see one is in Rice Township and another is in Union, but how about County Bridge number 44803 superstructure replacement and County Bridge number 24002. It would be great if we knew, it would be great if I know where, because I get stopped from people from time to time, as I'm sure we all do, complaining about their bridges. And if I knew where these were, I could say, oh, this is the status.
Got it. So
Okay.
we came pretty close on that one, but we're going to work on it.
It's getting better, though.
The
I see some
municipalities in there,
bridges.
and the and like the street, if it's Honey Hole Road or
Yeah,
Lifeburn Road or
that would
something
be
like
great.
that. Got it.
Thank you so much.
And I don't know if you saw, but we are utilizing the Act 13 Marcellus Shale funding for those 3 bridges
Yes.
that were closed,
Wonderful.
and we are utilizing those funds in order to reopen them
Great.
for some of our rural members of the county.
Great. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, thank you. Ms. Crocamo, you want to speak about the executive session, please?
There were personnel issues that were discussed at the executive session.
Thank you. Moving down to number 2, Luzerne County UC Trust Dividend. I think Mr. Parsnick has some information, but you also have information in your packet. We were fortunate enough this year, as you got that email back in about a month ago, I believe, right? That the county has received a dividend, May 25th actually, of $254,902, so almost $255,000. Mr. Parsnick is here if you have any questions. We've received this dividend in the past. As the council, we must make a determination where we're going to put this money as far as revenue. Mr. Haas?
Are there encumbered stipulations for that
I
one?
don't believe so.
General fund? Okay.
Yeah. It could go in the general fund. It could go into the reserve fund, which is part of the general fund. You know, we could use it in any number of areas, but we have to make a decision. You know, right now, currently, the check has been received. I think Mr. Sweat said, right? Correct? So it's money that is currently here in the county.
Mr. Chairman, you said they receive this money annually, right?
Well, we received this,
Yeah,
I think, 2 different years, I think,
Yeah.
prior to this year.
Last year too? You received?
No.
The year before?
Year before.
And then where'd it go?
into the general fund?
I think we put in reserve, Mr. Urban.
2 years ago?
As I remember, we put it in the reserve.
Okay, because he says generally you say reserve. Yeah, okay, I recommend putting it in the reserve fund so it's just not taken and spent.
Well, yeah, if it goes in the reserve fund that we require to be moved, it would have to come in front of council.
Right, we're going to vote on that next week?
I would like to put it on the agenda, yes.
Okay, good idea.
But I'd like to have a sense of anybody. Is that what they wish to put in the reserve fund? That seemed to be the consensus among people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we'll have a, well, it will be a budget amendment because it'll go into the 2018 budget. So it'll require first reading, public hearing, second reading. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, Mr. Parsons? Thank you for your information that you provided us. Number 3, we've been working on the codes. Ms. Houck has been the chairperson there. Mr. Keller and myself have served on the committee. You have a copy of the recommended changes to the personnel code. Ms. Houck is not here this evening. I would hope that everybody could review that. We'll put it back on the work session for the 26th when Ms. Houck would be here, and then we can have more information and questions, and then once we get through the work session, we can move it forward to an ordinance. Any questions that you want to bring forward? If you have any comments or about review, etc., please forward to Ms. Houck as the chairperson. Thank you. Moving down to number 4, Act 13. Mr. Haas, your committee met earlier this evening. This was one of the projects that was allocated money in the allocation for this year.
Correct.
And there was a original application. You can see the cost there was a little bit over $17,000, and the revised application, which came in later after the money had been assigned to them, is a little bit under $12,000. So there's a difference in the amount of money. And I know that the Act 13 committee had a discussion about that today. You want to speak to that?
Yeah, if you want me to summarize, again, everybody, the council majority last year voted just to give a uniform amount to all the award recipients, and it amounted to $4,423.86. Now, Sugarloaf Township, they, if you can see there just in the agenda summary, the original cost of their project was about $17,000. They've reduced it now to about $12,000. If you look at your agenda packet there, that you have, they scaled back the project, but it's not terribly descript. And the concern with the committee essentially is that, okay, so you apply for this award amount, and then if you scale back the project, should the award also be consequently scaled back as well? Was that legitimate for the council to decide that? Now, I think if, with the original intent, with the application process, they would have been awarded different amounts, and to me it seems appropriate, but that's just my opinion out of the committee. We didn't want to take specific action on it because it's under the council's purview, but going forward, we thought that we could either we can make a change in the policy process, which we'll submit to council on July 5th. July 10th, I believe, is the next council meeting, so we plan to meet prior to that. But going forward, I'll just give you a little summary that we thought in the application process that number 4 in section B, we thought to add in order to achieve equity. I'm sorry, I'm reading off a little bit. Going forward, we thought that it could read that all projects located within Luzerne County have the capacity to be completed within a certain time, and that any change in the specifications or materials or project scope would risk a reduction or an invalidation of the award. Again, it's up to council what the majority wants to do in this case. The award was given out to everyone, to every entity, so I don't know if that would be either fair to restrict that amount that's been awarded to Sugarloaf Township. I'd like to hear from the township exactly why they scaled it back. It doesn't seem like there would yield any cost savings. I don't know if anybody in council's been in contact with the folks in Sugarloaf. But no,
I think most of the work has been through the council's clerk.
Yeah.
Ms. Lawrence has done all the contact and discussions.
Absolutely. And we also talked about in the committee that I don't want to speak for you, Jane, but she's talked to another municipality too, that they have had some cost savings in their project, but at the same time, it wasn't a reduction in the project itself. It's just they found some better values, which we talked in committee that was very acceptable and appropriate, and we want to encourage that. What we want to discourage is any entity taking the funds, scaling it back, and using it for another purpose that wasn't the original intent. So we thought the committee that was an appropriate approach. But again, we're leaving to the general counsel to take action if anybody else thinks there should be a change in the award amount, one way or the other.
Well, let's talk specifically about this application. So Sugarloaf Township has had 2 applications sent to us. You see the information in front of you. Are you, essentially, does anybody have any problems with awarding or allowing the award to go forward?
Not with the way that the current program is set up. I think it's fine for them to get the full amount. Because everyone else got the same amount.
Okay. Anyone else?
No, I also agree. I said, I think under the circumstances, under the rules operating at the time, this, this happens. But that's one of the items, as Harry said, under discussion now, with the committee.
Okay.
So to prevent something like this from happening in the future.
So if it doesn't seem to have any issues with, then we'll allow it to move forward.
So like every year we're refining the process, so hopefully we'll get there.
And that'll be one thing you'll look at in the process, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, yeah, we had consensus on that portion tonight, but again, can't really apply that retroactively as well to current awards. So
very good.
Yep.
Number 5, I-9. I-9 requirements are something that we've had in the past. You can see that we have an email from our Human Resources Department, and we have some people that need to follow the guidelines and submit the information. We also had a copy of what information is allowable on the back page of that, page 92. So the people are named in the email. I could do, if you wish or if you want, the council, we can have somebody from the Human Resource Department come in prior to a council meeting, like at 5:30, and they could be here, copy the information they need, but you notice you have to submit the originals. Mm-hmm. Not everyone. There's a few people who do not have to submit it, but there's 10 names there, including Miss Lawrence, so there's 2 people who would not have to submit anything. So would you like that person to be here on the 26th? We have 2 public hearings on 5:30 and 5:45, right? 5:15 or so, 5 o'clock, 5:15. And people could bring in their information and get that accomplished. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, 5 o'clock, we'll ask somebody from Human Resources to be here. Sharon, you'll contact them, please.
HR,
Yeah.
26th?
26, 5 o'clock, please. And then a little bit more housekeeping information. We have, we've been in the process of updating the website. And one of the items that's come up is the photos for council. Some are older, some are different backgrounds. So in order to standardize that, we should have photos done
Mr. Chair?
with the same.
County administration is looking to work with a not-for-profit in order to do headshots for all county department heads for the website. We could extend the same courtesy to county council, give you a couple of dates and times that you guys can come in and do it if you would like.
That sounds like a good alternative.
And then, and also for the website, I'm going to be in touch with Sharon. We probably will like short bios for you if you'd like to be up on the website, where you're from, educational history, if something short as well, so the public can see that information as well.
Is that okay with everybody? We'll get some information from the manager, and we'll forward that out, and then get those photos in place so that everybody has a standardized kind of photo. Right, Bob?
Correct.
Okay. Moving on to public comment. Mr. Dombrowski.
I have a summary here of what I was going to say for the council members. Who would I give that to?
If you want to give that, give it to Mr. Haas, pass it over to the clerk, and then we'll make sure everybody gets a copy, please. Okay?
Yeah, because in Wilkes-Barre there's a structure fire in 12 years ago in 2006, and that's what this is about, and it's in need of demolition. But I called Ramilda about midweek last week, and I didn't get a call back. And regarding this issue, I didn't specify what it was, other than it's a Wilkes-Barre property, problem property. But anyway, since this fire has happened, $88,000 in back tax erode starting from January 1st of 1998 to present. So I wanted everybody to be aware of that. So it not only needs demolishing, but nobody's been paying tax. The original owner, since he took possession in 1994, he paid tax, I think, 2 years. So from January 1st of 1998 until there was a fire in 2006, he didn't pay any tax at all. And what happened after the fire was in 2011, the deed was transferred to the Cato Company, a debt collector from Ohio, and they've also not paid any property tax. I made some communication with one of the property managers at this Cato Company, and he claims there was a mistake, and they're not actually the owner. But the assessor's office said if their name's on the deed, which I include a copy of the deed there, their name is on the deed, that they are the actual owner. And until there's a corrective deed filed, which none has been filed to date, according to the county assessor's office. So anyway, I talked to the Luzerne County Tax Claim Bureau. I think she's the manager, Nadine Emmel, and she's claiming that there was possibly a mistake there also, but 7 years have gone by since this deed was transferred in 2011, and she says she needs more time, and here property tax is up to $88,000 owed at this point. I mean, how much more time does she need to correct a mistake that she's aware of? She signed the deed, her name's on there, in 2011. So she's been aware of for 7 years, you know. So what I'm saying is I wanted to see if we could do something about this to get rid of this property at 46 Murray, which is severely damaged. And I have pictures of it here, which I gave to Wilkes-Barre City Council, but I don't have a bunch of copies. This is my copy, so if you wanted to pass around and look at it and then just give it back if you'd like, you know. There's pictures here of the structure fire, and you can see the severity of the damage, you know.
Yeah, if you give it to the clerk, she can make you know, a copy that we could keep and then pass around to our people.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I was wondering, because you have Wilkes-Barre City Council involved and County Council involved now too, if maybe there could be some communication between County Council and Wilkes-Barre Council, at least to the chairman, Tony Brooks, and kind of rectify this deed situation. I mean, if the county assessor's office says the Cato Company's the owner, then they're the owner, and maybe just send Tony Brooks a letter saying that, so that's settled. And then he could take steps then to work towards getting this thing demolished, you know.
I don't know what steps we could take.
No, what the city can take, but I'm saying they need a letter, in my opinion, from the county saying, you know, we understand there's $88,000 back tax. We also understand Cato Company the deed was transferred to them in 2011. They are the owner, and I think just that letter alone would do it for City Council, so they're not handcuffed by the situation, you know.
Well, we certainly refer to the manager and solicitor's office.
I did reach out to Northeast Revenue and our assessor's office to get some more information. Once I get that, I'll have a better understanding about what's going on.
And I was kind enough to enclose a copy of the back taxes owed itemized, which I printed out. Now that you mention that, which I forgot to say, all the way from 1995 to present, year by year, totaling up to $88,000. So I printed out as well. So you have a copy of the deed showing the Cato Company names on there, and a copy of every single year from 1995 to present showing what's owed. I mean, it's all there in black and white. You know?
Well, thank you for providing the information.
Right.
the solicitor's office and the manager's office now have it, and they'll have to go through and see what.
Is your contact information is on the
Yeah,
sheet?
that's in there too. I wrote a summary, and at the end, we're the neighbor at 225 Jones Street. We have a commercial building where Scory Brothers floor covering is. We're about 30 to 40 feet away on the back of our building, our property line from this area. You know, 46 and 48 is actually 2 houses on one lot. So, so the deed is showing it as being 46 Murray Street, but it's actually 46 and 48.
All right. We're going to review it from our assessor's office, our solicitor's office.
Yeah, I appreciate it, yeah.
And then we'll be in touch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know, and if you could also kindly just contact Tony Brooks and at the same time, you know, or before you contact me,
We'll give him all the
you
paperwork
know.
we have on. I mean, so we can give him the whole file once we get everything together. So let me talk to the
Yeah.
assessor's office, let me talk to the tax claim, and see what else, all the information I have on it. And then I'll get a copy of the deed as well. I'll get everything together for Tony and let him know who the owner is.
Yeah, right, yeah, I'm gonna give them a copy tomorrow at their meeting,
Great.
city council meeting tomorrow. So
Thank
he's
you.
gonna get the same package that you have as well.
And we'll make a copy of this and give you photos back after the meeting, okay?
Oh, really? You can make a copy that fast?
Well,
Yeah?
the copier, color good copy.
Oh, yeah, yeah, something there, yeah. So I'll
Okay.
just wait after the meeting for the photo.
Yeah, just for, thank you.
Yeah, I think, like I said, they just need your cooperation to say that the Cato companies aren't, because there's some doubt in their mind, I think, as to whether it was the original owner, who unfortunately was a licensed attorney who's since been disbarred, too. It's a complex scenario. So I'm saying that,
Let's try to keep it as simple as possible.
no, I'm saying that that was the problem, that they, you know, they had some doubt as to who was the owner, but the deed is saying who the owner is.
Thank you. Mr. Shiner?
The codes for the county, as required by the charter, the admin code, the accountability, conduct, and ethics code, and the personnel code, are being put under consideration for review and amendment. And the first one coming to you now is the personnel code. These are important codes, but as anything goes, be it the charter, your ordinances, or the laws of the other laws of the county, you can make all the revisions, all the amendments you want. If they're not followed, it really doesn't matter. Personnel Code, Section 1003.06, paragraph G, says applications and accompanying credentials of all non-selected qualified candidates shall be kept on file with the Human Resources Department for 1 year. This shall constitute an eligibility list for the advertised position. A letter of acknowledgement and thanks shall be sent to all applicants for any position within the county. Well, that sounds great, but no one's sending out the letters. And if they are sending them, they're doing it erratically because everyone that's applying and not being considered or hired is not getting this thank you letter. We need enforcement in this county. Something lacking in the charter. I don't know how we go about doing it, but we need to get enforcement. When the state creates a law, they also give the ability to enforce it. And I think that's one of the big problems we're having here in Luzerne County, the total lack of enforcement. And on another positive note, I think we hit a record. Voting and work session in 1 hour. Actually, exactly 1 hour. Thank you.
And Mr. Shiner, just so you know, that was one of the things we talked about in the personnel code, the thank you letters. So it was noted. Anyone else? Yes.
When you talk to the city, I want to thank Mr. Dombrowski for coming in, but, you know, maybe you need to go through the list of unpaid taxes on properties for multiple years in the city and see if there's any other properties that have been damaged by fire, because I know there's one in the corner of Wood Street and Sanborn Street. It's been caught fire maybe 2 years ago. It's still sitting there boarded up. Nothing's been done to it. There's another one up Northampton Street, just a little bit between McDonald's, but it's on the right side before you get up to Park Ave. That's been there for a number of years. And, you know, the city owns a property down across from Shields. It's actually called South Franklin Street. You know, it was an old silk mill. And, you know, it's been sitting there boarded up, and a number of times the residents have asked me, you know, what's going to be done with that building. It just sits there. I mean, the city owns it, and it hasn't been knocked down. It's probably not repairable. Part of it was knocked down, but they boarded it up. But every now and then when I go to the store, I see that people go in there, that there's whatever they board up, people rip off and go inside the building, so it is a hazard. Plus, it's not collecting any revenue for anybody, it just sits there. And so maybe these older buildings in Wilkes-Barre need to be addressed, and I think Wilkes-Barre, if we look at the tax collection, is one of our lower areas where we do collect taxes from the city of Wilkes-Barre. So maybe follow that with a letter too. I know they're probably a little mad at us about Cole Street, but that's too bad, that's our money.
We have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Mr. Haas, Mr. Urban, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.